CF family. Welcome to our November webinar. We are so happy to always connect with you and provide you with resources. They're going to hopefully change your world, change your life. That's what we're here for. This month, we have such a special guest. I want to tell you a little bit about her. Some of you may already know her. So honored to have her here on our monthly show, if you will, on our webinar. She has so much experience, a USC Upstate graduate. She got her master's in management and leadership from Webster University. Her professional experience just ranges from all over. But what I love about her is she is such a people person. She has so many skills that she's able to translate to the body of Christ. Leadership is her niche. She did quality systems auditor, continuous improvement specialist. She's worked in sales and currently does HR, human resources, as organizational development manager. It doesn't matter what God's given her. As long as I've known her, which is close to 20 years now, everything she touches, God turns to gold because he has his hand on her and he's just equipped her and given her so many skills. And she's an awesome communicator. She's a host, facilitator, a collaborative business partner. She just has shared her whole life and her experiences to encourage, to exhort, to empower people for change. She has a dynamic personality, which you'll see in just a second, infectious laugh. And gosh, there's so many strengths that she has, but she is here today to talk to us about leadership that drives performance. Chriselda Cuyar, we couldn't be more happy to have you. We're so excited about what you're going to share with us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, Ash, you know what? I am excited to be here with my Redemption Fellowship family. You know, some of you may know that I am an ordained pastor under Redemption. I got saved in 2002, and my growth and knowledge and experience walking, you know, with you all, with God, has just been so much fun. And it's always so much fun to do anything with Ashley Bratton.
My sidekick. Yes.
I love it. I feel like we're back together again, Ash.
Reunited.
It is so good. But what I want to do today is take the time to talk about leadership that drives performance. Working in corporate America for as long as I've had, what helped me transition and walk out my relationship with God was that I saw so many things, principles and policies and procedures, that when I got saved, it was like a one-to-one thing. I was like, you know what? They do so much in corporate America that they don't give credit to God for. And I remember Pastor Ron saying that a principle is a principle, and it works anywhere, whether in the church, in your home, or in corporate America. But when you apply that principle, you get those same results. And that's what I've seen. A lot of the training, the development that I've received are so many of the principles that Jesus trained and used to develop his disciples. So what I want to do today is just take a few minutes that talk about leadership and what are the leadership skills that we need to help drive the performance out of those that serve along with us. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my presentation here. And we're going to go ahead and get on the road. So if everybody can see that, you see it, Ash?
Yeah.
Good. So leadership that drive performance. So what does that mean? So just right quickly, our talking points for today are, I'm going to share a little bit more about me. And the reason why I want to share that about me is because you'll see how powerful vision is, and where God took me from to where we are today. It was totally about vision. The next thing we're going to talk about is, what is leadership? What does that even mean? What does that even look like? Okay. And the next thing we're going to talk about is influence, empowerment, and respect. And then key to any of this, the foundation of it all, is understanding who you are and what you need. Because the more you understand about yourself, the more you understand of what you need to be an effective leader, the more you're able to influence others to align with your vision and help God do what he's called you to do. So just a little bit about me. You can find me on LinkedIn under Chriselda Cuyar, or you can see me on Instagram as CC Just Being Me. Yep, just me, Chriselda Cuyar. But a little bit about me. I was born in Texas. And when I was 2 years old, my mom moved us to California. So from my 2 to 20, that's my California roots. Most people say you don't have an accent, I guess, because that's what happens when you're in California. And when I was about 20, God gave me a vision for my life. I was a single mom. It was overwhelming. And all I could see and hear was him say, go to South Carolina. And that's what I did. I came to South Carolina. And in coming to South Carolina, I knew that there's some things that I wanted to do. I wanted to raise my daughter, provide a home, and get an education, and get jobs that would enable me to take care of her. And that's what happened. I got my undergraduate degree in USC Upstate, which was a campus of USC South Carolina. I got my master's at Webster. Also during that time, I was blessed to meet my husband. Between the two of us, we have 4 children. And then I also was honored to become ordained pastor with Redemption and Redemption Ministerial Fellowship. But you know what? All of that started with a vision. And every step of the way, I had to gain knowledge, gain skills to take me to that next step. So, influence, vision, and empowerment. That is what truly leadership is about. Leadership is about influence and how we create a vision whereby people adopt the vision as their own and work towards the achievement of that vision. As a leader, at the end of the day, it's all about influence. Can you get people to come alongside you to help lift up this vision and take it to where it needs to go? And also, leadership is about empowerment, whereby we identify gifts. You know, leaders, that's what we do. We look at others, we identify those gifts, and we position those others for success as they adopt the vision as their own and work towards the achievement of that vision. So we have to have a vision, we have to be able to influence people, and we have to be able to empower people. At the end of the day, based on what I've been exposed to and what I've seen, to me, in a nutshell, that's how I see leadership. You know, so influencing. I shared a little bit about my story about having a vision and, how important that is to have someone share in your vision. I remember when I was about 22, and I had just came to South Carolina, I knew that I was supposed to continue my education here. However, the person that I had in my life didn't share my vision for myself and my daughter. They didn't understand why I needed to go to school. When I got approved for my first house at 25, they felt that I didn't really need a home because, that was being too much to ask for. So it's important that you're creating a vision that's shareable, that people can come alongside you. And part of that, getting that vision shared, is how you're able to influence others. Again, we said leadership is about influence and how we create a vision. And one of my favorite scriptures, and we've all heard it, Habakkuk 2:2. Let me go ahead and make sure that I say it correctly. Because although I didn't write it down. I had it was written in my heart. And I just know that the more that you write it down and make it plain, you've pretty much set it on course to manifest itself. So here we go. And I apologize for not having my scripture ready, but it is Habakkuk 2:2. So we know that we should write the vision down, make it plain, so anyone that reads it can run for it. And it also says that we should wait on it. Though it tarry, we should wait on it, because in its due season, it will show itself. I have always believed in making sure that people understood what that means. And part of creating that vision and sharing that vision, what happens is people start to respect you because you're standing by what you believe in. And when you have that vision, and when you share that vision, and you stand by that vision, people come to believe and support that. And it's all about respect. When people respect you, they will follow you. And I think a lot of times where we are challenged as leaders is that we don't recognize that there's areas in our lives that still need to be developed. And it's in those development of those areas which will help others respect you. And when others respect you, they will most definitely always want to follow you. So respect. How do we get those that we're leading respect us? Respect us so much that they will share in our vision and help that go forth. How do we do that? One of the books that I read is John Maxwell. And a lot of what he talks about is developing yourself as a leader. And one of his books, called 5 Levels of Leadership, has a foundational stepping stone that helps you identify the steps that it takes to get the respect as a leader, thereby using that influence to accomplish your vision. One of the first things that he says is that people follow you because they have to. They follow you because of your position. They follow you because your position has rights that are attached to it. And we all know that. When people operate out of a position, our parents, we listen to our parents because of their position. Our bosses, we listen to their bosses because of their position. And that's why people follow you. And people follow leaders is because of position. So now that we know that that position is there and it's known, the next reason why people follow you is because they want to, because they recognize that you have the position and that permission aligns with the relationship. So people follow out of relationship. After they've recognized you being in a position, you've been with them for a while, you've built those relationships. So then what happens? People follow you out of relationships. And then after that, results. People follow because of what you have done for the organization, or what you have done for members of the church, or what you have done for members of the community. Once you have that relationship, once they see the results, then they know that you're worthy to follow. Once you've got to that next level of getting results, it goes back inward. People follow because of what you have done for them, which is people development. You've poured into them. You've given them their trust. You've shared your knowledge. You've been there when they've needed you. You pretty much are reproducing what you have in others. So people follow because of what you have done for them. And out of that comes respect. People follow you because of who you are and what you represent. It's like a stepping ladder of getting to that level of leadership. When they know you're in position, you're given that automatically because it's a positional authority. Then you've built relationships, and people follow you because they want to. Once they're following you, they recognize the results that you're getting for the organization or for the community. And then out of that comes what you do for them in reference to developing them into being leaders. And what you've done over a period of time, you've positioned yourself that it's not so much of people are doing it out of those other reasons. They do it because they respect you. And we all, we want to be respected. We see so much in the media and in schools and our homes where there is so much lack of respect. And I think that's because sometimes we just want respect and we want to demand it, but we don't understand that respect happens over time and over different levels. So again, if we were to really go back and think about it, leadership is about influence. We want that influence to help us establish and create a vision and execute that vision. But that vision takes time, and people need to get to know you. And they will, if they respect you, they will follow you and help you with your vision. So we talked about vision, and we've talked about influence. So I've always believed that you're only as good as your weaknesses are. What do I mean? If I recognize that there's areas in my life that I'm weak in, part of a leader and gaining that respect from those that you're guiding to accomplish a vision is being honest about yourself and who you are when it comes to your skills and knowledge and abilities. What do you need to do to help others succeed is you have to empower them. But part of that empowerment comes from empowering them from your place of weakness. It's like you have a three-legged stool. As long as there's three legs, that stool is strong and sturdy. But once you remove one of those legs, it becomes unstable. Part of your responsibility of a leader is empowering others to help you be stable. And you empower others by making sure that you have people positioned to compensate for your weaknesses. So empowerment starts with creating that shared vision, assessing your leadership skills, and by creating a plan to mitigate all that. So where we're gonna go to now is, since we understand what it means to create a vision, we understand that it requires, respect. We understand that getting to that respect starts with operating from a position of leadership to getting results, to developing others, to others following you because of who you are. What I want to do next is talk about understanding where you are in reference just to your leadership skills and positioning yourself and others to succeed by staffing and giving, by staffing and putting people in positions to compensate for your weaknesses. A couple items that I have here is a document that talks about creating a shared vision and how you create that shared vision, and also leadership skills assessment. So again, it's all about the vision. Do the people know what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go? And let me pull this up for you. You hold on just 1 minute. I am so sorry. I am going to pull up our documents here. All right. So, here we go. Sorry about that. So again, we were talking about shared vision, and what I have for you, which Ashley is going to send out after the webinar, is a worksheet on how you create a shared vision. So when you go back and you sit with your leadership team and you're thinking about 2020 and what we want to do, this is a working document, an outline document that has different parts for you to cover with your team. You want to make sure you have a welcome, put your welcome together. And then you want to express what you want. In 2020, I see us making an impact in the community by doing X. Then you also will want their feedback that allows them to speak and share and give you ideas about that goal. And then as a team, you want to set those goals. And then part 5, you want to have a way to come back and follow up. You always want to check in. So as you're going into to 2020, and as you're thinking about, okay, what do I want to do as a leader? How do I want to engage my team? Where do I need to go? This is a great tool to help you walk through creating a shared vision for your team. And once you do that, you're already setting the stage for the next year. But the next thing I want to share with you is also, again, we talked about a vision. We we have a tool to help us do that. But I also want to talk to you about assessing yourself and how can I share in my weaknesses so that I make sure that I can staff for my weaknesses. What we're going to send you after this session is a leadership skills assessment. And all we're doing here is, remember, for you to succeed and for your vision to go forth, again, you have to be able to get those that can support you in the areas that you're weak. And so all this assessment does is give you insight of where you may need help so that you can get extra training, or you can have someone on your team that have skills in this level. Part 1 of the assessment, you have a rating scale of 5 to 1, 5 being very strong, 1 meaning, I haven't done this. We look at your development skills. How good are you learning new skills? How good are you at evaluating yourself? How good are you on getting feedback from others? How are you about motivating others, giving positive feedback, giving constructive criticism, coaching and mentoring? Coaching is the hardest thing, giving feedback to others and how to let them know and set forth to be successful based on that feedback. Are you comfortable communicating in small groups, formal speaking? How are you about framing and reframing issues and ideals? How good are you listening and empathizing with others? And then what about group dynamics? How are you working in a group? How are you facilitating a group? How well are you at resolving conflicts, planning and running meetings? Are you a delegator, or do you have to do everything? And then the second part is project planning. Project planning is not always easy. Do you know who's the stakeholders? Who do you have to be involved? Do you know how much it's going to cost? Project budgeting. You always should count the costs. Do you know how well are you at developing timelines, knowing that you have to do A before you do B, before you do C? And then how often do you come back and see how effective your planning was? And if you have to do any makeups, or do you have any lessons learned? And then the other area is community and organizational development. Are you good at sharing a division? Are you good at identifying what needs and assets that you have or don't have to execute your vision. You know, are you good at planning? Are you good at gathering information? And are you good at recruiting volunteers? Assessing yourself in all these different areas helps you recognize where you should staff for your weakness. It helps you to recognize if you should go and get additional training. It helps you to recognize that we can't be good at everything. And you know what? That's okay. And then part 2 of the assessment is a development plan. You want to look at those that you scored 4 or above and say, how can I translate that into others? If I'm good at recruiting volunteers, how can I teach others to recruit volunteers? You know, leadership is always about developing others. I always see it as I'm working myself out of something that I can transition to someone else. Because once we've accomplished that, or we've developed others, then it enables God to open the door for us to do other things. And then for those things that you just scored 3 or below, pick 3 that you would like to improve and put some things in place that you can take to help you develop these skills. So again, at this leadership assessment, all it is helping you understand where you are. Because if you understand where you are, it enables you to identify those that can help you succeed, and it also helps them succeed. So with that, I'm going to bring us back to our PowerPoint. Just to recap, we know that vision, leadership is about influence, and we influence others by creating a shared vision, and people follow us because they respect us. And if we want others to respect us, we have to recognize that they recognize that we operate from a position of authority. But then out of that comes relationships. And in relationships, people follow us because they want to. And once they want to, they follow us because of what we've done for the organization and the results that we get. And once they recognize the results that we get, they follow us because of what we've done for them. And then they follow us because they respect us. In a nutshell, leadership is not an easy thing, but for us to drive the results that we want to drive out of others, we always have to know where we are, what we need, and develop ourselves to compensate for our weaknesses or find those on our team that can support us. I just want to go ahead and share some resources from today's lesson, some books that I've always used, which are my favorites. I love my Maxwell Leadership Bible. It has a lot of tips and tools on leadership, but what I like about it is it shares the principles and how Jesus used those principles. One of another books is Becoming a Person of Influence. And then also 5 Levels of Leadership. I just want to share one more thing. I have a great mentor. Her name is Elizabeth Yinda, and her company is EJC Move. We just had a Leadership Reimagined breakfast, and we wanted to get feedback from others and how they felt that they've been developed for a leader. And I just want to share some of the points that came out of that session. If you don't mind. So we were talking, we had a leadership breakfast, and we got feedback. We had about 75 people. These were up and coming leaders, leaders or people that report leaders. And I just wanted to share some of these tools and the feedback that they gave us. They felt that communication is critically important to leadership development. They felt that soft skills win the day: communication, compassion, consistency. They felt that mentoring is a must. We heard that they said developing leaders need a path up and a path out. Not everyone wants to be a leader, but there are some people that just want to do a good job. So then, and they realize that it's not for them, but we have to give people an opportunity to be the best individual contributor that they can be. They recognize that women are fully capable and prepared to lead. And they said that the best brands and companies give everyone a stake in leadership by focusing on the importance of their culture and their brand. You know, Jesus was the most influential leader, and his brand is timeless because his brand was all about service and servanthood. He was a visionary. You know, he said, you know, he told them, you know, that they would go out and make disciples. You know, he told the disciples, follow me and I will make you fishers of men. How awesome is that? And as Peter and Andrew was casting your nets, Jesus was casting a vision for them to be fishers of men. Vision alignment starts from very beginning. Do the people understand where you're going? Also, it makes sense to grow leaders before they become leaders. And if you can't grow your leaders ahead of time, intensive leadership development should be an expectation of anyone's new role. And then at the end of the day, leaders aren't necessarily born, sometimes they're made. I just thought that that was just like some awesome tips from our breakfast that I was in the other day. And another one is Leadership Lessons of Jesus, one of my favorite books. I enjoy it so much. All this information will be in the handout that Ashley's going to send out. But before I go, I found something that I saw on LinkedIn, and it's pretty cool. They said, and success in the workplace means putting people first, guiding employees' development, and cultivating a strong sense of collective purpose at work. I just want to thank you all for my time today, and I hope this information that I've shared with you is something that you will use to help you come and, you know, drive performance from your position of leadership.
Wow, that was so awesome, Pastor Chriselda. And, you know, I have to brag on you for a second. I know it's so cool to see you, you know, in your element. And I know that, you know, as long as I've known you, you don't just do this at work, and you're really good at it at work. You've had several jobs and are always constantly being promoted because you're really good at it. But as long as I've known you, you've always had people that you've mentored. You've always had people that come to your house, or people from church that you're pouring into. And I think it's a powerful thing to see you use your gift for the kingdom. And I'm so excited. Thank you so much just for these practical resources. And the entire RF family, I encourage you, as you watch this, set aside some time for your team, however much time you need to take these evaluations. You know what? 2020 is coming up. We're less than a month away, and there's still time to be set up for success. There's still time to work on clarifying our vision and making sure, you know, that we're digging deep and say, what is God saying? And write it down, make it plain. And then, you know, God sent us some awesome people to run beside us, and it's very important that we have a plan for pouring into them, because, yes. You know, that can only take us higher and farther. And people appreciate that. Nobody wants to stay at a place where they don't grow and they're not developed. Exactly. We all want to make a difference. And, and so also, guess what? It's not just today's session. We have a bonus track that we'll have for you guys in the next week. And so today we talked about all kind of leadership that drives performance. But part 2 is all about coaching for results. So we talked about so many great things today, but the coaching piece, like she mentioned several times, is so crucial for their development and for maintaining that development. And so I'm really excited. I've been taking notes the whole time, and I'm really excited about that next session too, and what we're going to learn from it and how it's going to set us up. I believe God's doing something big. I believe that this is a God-sent teaching for this coming year to help us start off strong. So I'm so excited. And as you guys know, we do giveaways every week. So some of these Maxwell books and things that she mentioned, we're going to get it to you, but you've got to watch the video, obviously. Take the survey. The survey link will either be in the comments if you're watching it on social media, or it'll be in the email, whichever way you go find it from. But again, Chriselda, do you have any closing remarks before we go today?
Ashley, I just want to thank you for inviting me. It was such a pleasure. I had been thinking about this for so long, and a lot of times we don't take the time to look at ourselves and realize that the things that are missing are the things that we need to help others. And I hope everyone can see that I'm coming from a place from sincerity, because I want you to be successful. And when I left California at a young age, I remember thinking that how I wished I had somebody to help me grow as a woman and learn the things that I needed to learn. But I had so many stumbles. I had so many mess ups. I was going around the cycle over and over, but it wasn't until I met my current mentor that saw something in me that she was always helping me develop myself to learn and grow from my place of weaknesses. That I saw how important it was that you either staff for your weaknesses, because you can't do everything, right? You don't know everything. So I hope this session will help our leaders look at themselves and see what they need to do to position themselves for success in 2020.
Yes, and it was our heart to get it before the holidays. We hope you get some time off at the holidays where you can sit and think and pray and take advantage of time off and really hear God about what he's saying for what's next. Pastor Chriselda, thank you for pouring out your heart and your resources and everything that you have, and know that it's going to be so impactful for the teams that take advantage of it. Teams, you guys take advantage. Don't let this slide by and forget that it's in your inbox. Use it. It's for you. We're here for you to make you better. And we're believing for great things for next year. Thanks again for another webinar, for joining us. And we will see you next month.
Bye-bye.
Bye.